Alright, today we got the a buck knife. It is the Vantage Force Pro. It is an S30V. It has G10 handles. Now, it's got a coated blade. The S30V's got a Bose Boss BOS heat treatment. From what I've been told, it's definitely a really good heat treatment. Buck knives has always been really good with heat treating their knife blades. But this one's got a G10 handle. Really awesome blue and black. You can see it's blue and black layered G10. It's got the buck knives emblem inlaid in there. Now this knife is a little bit heavy. The liners are not milled out at all. It is a liner lock, but that stainless steel liner, the lockup on this knife here, I've heard some people talk about some centering issues that they've had, which some may not like, some may be more worried about it than others. The lockup on this knife is really good. No movement whatsoever, but the what I was talking about, the centering. Now so far I've only had this knife for 4 or 5 days. Centering on this knife is really good. Maybe a hair over to this right side, but not by much. But I've heard of people having good centering, and later on over time that with this liner, something about with this they noticed their lockup moving over a hair and their centering went off a little bit. I don't know, because I haven't had this knife long enough to actually know that. But the Vantage line of buck knives you can get for pretty cheap. This is one of their higher end models. I guess it all depends on where you shop. I got this for about $85. MSRP is about $150, but retail you can pretty much get it for about $80 to $90 depending on where you're shopping, maybe even cheaper, I'm not sure. I went ahead and pulled the trigger when I seen it for about $80, $85. Really nice knife. I love these G10 handles. The only thing about the knife is it's a little heavy. It's got a really deep carry pocket clip. I love that. And really, it's got a great feel. Now, it's got a little bit of jimping. Nothing like a Spyderco does. They really do a perfect jimping job. But I mean, it's not bad. It definitely, gives me a little support. But buck, I don't know. I love the traditional buck knives. When it comes to EDC carry folders, I feel like they got a lot of options in the cheaper end with their China knives. But when it comes to their USA folders, I don't know. I just feel like they've kind of been lacking in the past years. But this knife will definitely is definitely one of my favorites that they've come out with. Even though it is heavy, it does feel like good weight. But if you were going on a long hike or somewhere where weight's an issue, you might want to consider something a little bit lighter. Because this is I want to say this knife was close to 5 ounces. Maybe not quite that much, maybe 4.5. But definitely nothing like a lightweight Mannix or anything like that. But size-wise, people give specs all the time, but it's kind of hard to really get that in mind because everybody's got different size hands. But I brought a couple knives just to kind of hold beside it so you can kind of see. This here is a Spyderco Tenacious, brown and black, and you can see there that that Tenacious is a little bit bigger. Of course, the Tenacious is a full fat ground blade. This is a drop point blade, but still, you still got a lot of you still got a good grind on there. Definitely get some good food prepping, and I mean, with a knife like this, you're not gonna really be cutting kindling or anything, but definitely for EDC, you know, cutting tasks, you got a good blade. One other knife that I brought for a size comparison, Kershaw Echelon. That knife is a little bit of a, I would say like a mid-size folder EDC knife. Now this is a little bit bigger, a little bit better grip, and a little bit bigger blade. Now that Kershaw, just barely get all my hands on. Tenacious, you know, Tenacious, I mean, I guess they're close. Tenacious, when you get them side by side, is a little bit bigger though. Maybe not handle wise, but blade wise, just a little bit bigger blade. Tenacious, great knife for the money. And the Kershaw is a great knife for the money. I love these G10 handles, awesome. I love these brown G10 edition of the Tenacious also. Spyderco, Kershaw, and Buck, you know, 3 great brands. But this Buck knife is definitely one of my favorites in the Buck lineup. You can get a regular Vantage for like $20-$30. You're not going to get S30V, you're going to get 440, which Buck does a really good heat treatment with their 440 also. And you're not going to get these G10 handles. But I don't know. I just think it's a great option for EDC. Deep carry pocket clip. I mean, it just disappears in your pocket. Compared to Tenacious. Tenacious, you're going to have a good bit of knife hanging out. This Kershaw, you're going to have a little bit less hanging out than this Tenacious. Pretty good clip on the Kershaw. But this Buck knife is definitely a deep carry. But, I don't know. If you haven't checked out the Buck, definitely check one out. I'm going to say again, if weight's not an issue, you know, definitely a great EDC knife. Very, very sharp right out the box. Great heat treatment on the blade from Buck. That BO, I call it Boss. It's probably how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. But, S30V. And yeah, if you haven't checked out the Vantage line, definitely check it out. Alright, y'all have a good one.